Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Paper Crafts here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in central Scotland. It is Simple Sundays time again, and today I'm going to show you how I made these little projects here. They're tiny little book style boxes that hold a mini box of Tic Tacs. I think there's about 6 or 8 Tic Tacs or something in the box. I got these as part of a larger pack, a box of 60, and they come in 4 different flavours and 4 different colours, so you can colour coordinate if you so wish. So I used our new in colours to make these. This is Bumblebee and this is Magenta Madness, my favourite. And the designer series paper is from the Flowers for Every Season 6x6 DSP pack, and it's just the back side of one of the floral papers. So I'm going to show you how I made it. It's quick and easy. And this time a colour that I've not really used yet is Cinnamon Cider. So you'll need 2 tiny little pieces of cardstock, one which measures, let me just remind myself, 2 5/8 by 2 1/4 to make the little box on the inside, and one piece which measures 3 1/8 by 1 3/4 to make the little sleeve on the outside. You'll also need 2 pieces of designer series paper which measure 1 5/8 by 1 1/8, and one piece which measures 1 5/8 by 1/2 inch, and that's all you're going to need. So let's get on and do some scoring, and I'll just score both pieces at the same time. And I think you can probably see that without some glare. So on the piece for the box on the inside, you're simply going to score at 5/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. And because it's a really small project, I'm using the small end of my scoring tool, but when you're using that you just need to be really careful that you don't jump the track, which I sometimes do. And on the piece for the little book on the outside, you're going to score at 1 1/4 inches from both sides on the long side. So 1 1/4 inches here, turn it right round, and 1 1/4 inches again. You can do it 1 1/4 and 1 7/8, but to make sure these are both exactly the same size, I like to score on both sides, whichever you prefer. So I'm going to fold and burnish all my score lines on both pieces. There we are. And there's no cutting on this part, but we are going to round the corners. But the cutting on this part is as I would do for any box. I'm going to cut up all of these squares on the corners, straight edge on the long rectangle, and removing the score line onto the little square. And as I do with almost every box that I make, I'm just going to rotate for each corner. You don't have to. You can actually just do 2 corners here and 2 corners here if you wish, but I've just gotten into the habit of rotating each corner. I just feel that it makes the box a little bit stronger and a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, really, but it is personal choice. Oops, I'll just redo that one a little bit. There we are. Just get rid of that little bit there too. So that's all the cutting for that bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my trio punch and just round all the corners on, on this part. It's hard to press this punch when you're actually sitting down. It's a good workout. So that's that. And for the front and back panels, I'm actually going to round my designer series paper as well. It's really small, so just make sure you take your time putting it in, and watch your fingers as well, because you can easily catch them under here. So just make sure you keep your hands out of the way. And this piece too. you can see the floral on the back of that piece, or rather on the front, depending on which way you look at it. So that's all my corners rounded. We don't need to do anything with this part, so I'll get rid of my punch and bring in my designer series, no, not my designer series paper at all, be quiet Karen, my double-sided tape is what I meant to say. And I'm just going to add a piece to each corner. That's gone at a bit of an angle, so pop that on there. Oops. And much better if I use my ruler. There we are. And because these are just a little bit longer than the tape, you don't have to, and if you were using Stampin' Seal you wouldn't have to trim these bits, but I'm just going to trim them just so that we don't have any bits that are going to catch on my Tic Tacs when I put them in the box. There we are. And then I'm going to stick these bits together. So I'll take off the backing. And then just fold over any sticky outy bits. That's a technical term in Scotland, sticky outy. There we are. And then just straight edge to folded edge for any other box that you would be making. There we are. And then any of these furry little corners, just snip them with your paper snips. And like I said before, just be very careful that you only snip the little furry bits and you don't actually cut the corner of your box. And just to make sure these are stuck down right at the edge, because it's so small, I'm just going to give those a good press with my paper folder like so. There we are. And then I'm going to pop in my little box of Tic Tacs and I'm going to stick it into here. The Tic Tacs being inside the box just give me something to push against, because I'm going to try my Stampin' Seal Plus. I don't know how I'll get on, and I don't always get on, like Fast Fuse and I didn't always get on, but hopefully we'll be friends enough to let me stick my box down. There we are. I could have done with not having a little bit over the top there, but never mind. So I'm going to butt this side of my box up to this side of this fold, and before I press it down completely, I'm just going to make sure that I'm happy that it's even at each side here, which it seems to be. Just turn it over and give it an extra press down like so. And then again, using the Tic Tacs as something to press against, I'm just going to add some more Stampin' Seal Plus to the side of my box here and just push it up against what is, if you like, the spine of my little bookcase, so that it's not going to open right up when I open it, and just give that an extra press. Pop my sweeties back in, because again it gives me something to lean against, and I'm just going to take my Stampin' Seal Plus across the middle or round about the middle, and the same again on the spine. Oops, without destroying it, I'm going to grab my silicone mat just so that that doesn't stick to my grid paper, and another piece across the middle here, and stopping just short of this edge because I don't want that to be sticking out. And then I'm going to bring in my cinnamon cider ribbon. It's the in colour ribbon, it's a sort of woven cotton, and I'm just going to pull that round my box as well, but leaving plenty to be able to tie my bow, and then I'll trim it after I'm finished. So about there, and take it straight across the spine and back across this way, and that's it. Grab my ribbon scissors and just cut that off about there. There we are. And then I'm ready to pop my designer series paper on to the front, but I wanted the designer series paper over the front or over the top of my ribbon. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Sale Plus just to make sure that my designer series paper sticks really well. So I'm going to keep my silicone mat just now because I'm going to be going over the edges to make sure I've got tape right to the edge, to make sure that I've got plenty to stick to my ribbon as well as my little box. And I'm just going to line that up with an even border round about there and press that down. Same again for the other side, so oops, as close to the edge as I can manage. Give an extra bit there. There we are. The Stampin' Sale Plus is kind of a replacement for Fast Fuse. It is very, very sticky, and like Fast Fuse, it and I are taking some time to get acquainted and become friends, but Fast Fuse and I did become best friends in the end. I think I'll do it this way again. So again, just popping that on with an even border round, which is about there, and then one more piece of tape down the middle of here. There we are. Just make sure I don't have any overlap because I don't want any shiny tape sticking out. Maybe have a little bit, but that's okay. And then again with an even border around it, so sticking that down about there. And I'm okay with these little bits of ribbon being able to be seen around the outside. So all I need to do is tie my ribbon in a bow. Just be careful you don't pull it too tight because you don't want to bend these extra bits of card too much, but you want it to be tight enough to hold your little book closed. So there we go, just get a hold of this bit here, sit, and just even up my bow a little bit. It can be a little bit fiddly or fakey, as we would say in these parts, but just take your time and get it how you want it. I'm quite happy with that for now. I think I can fiddle with it a little bit more later, and it could have been a little bit straighter, but I'm okay with that. And just cut my ends here and here. And then my little butterfly on the front here came from the Hippo Happiness stamp set. It's a photopolymer stamp set, so it's the clear one, and it's this little butterfly here that I used as well. And I die cut that with the Hippo and Friends dies. Lots of gorgeous dies in this set, and this is a little butterfly one here. So I've already stamped that in cinnamon cider ahead of time, and I'm just going to pop a couple of mini glue dots, no, mini dimensionals even, on the back, just on the wings, and then stick that on the front of my little box. Everything's now sticking to my silicone mat, so I'm going to get rid of it. There we are, and then I just pop that in the middle on the front, about there. And just to add a little bit of sparkle, I brought in my new in colour enamel dots, and I just used the coordinating colour just to pop onto the butterfly's head there. Could have done that a little bit straighter, but you can't really notice it, and I'm okay with it. And that's my little boxes made. I think now that I've made 3, I need to make a couple in the remaining colours as well, but that's my box for today. Just pretty little box to just give somebody a wee surprise with a little mini box of Tic Tacs. And we'll see with the shorter tails if I can actually tie this bow on my Magenta Madness box back together as well. No, obviously not. So I'm just going to leave it for now and I'll tie it off camera. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Share any that you make yourself, and I'll see you again in a few days' time. Take care. Bye bye.